We bid you welcome. We do not ask what you believe or expect you to think a certain way, but only that you try to live a kindly, helpful life with the dignity proper to a human being. Welcome all who believe that religion is wider than any sect and deeper than any set of opinions. Welcome all who might find in our friendship strength and encouragement for daily living. Good morning and welcome to the Universalist Unitarian Church of Farmington. I am Reverend Glenn Farley. We'd like to extend a special welcome to any visitors today. After the service, we have a special time today. It's Holi. On Friday was the Hindu celebration of Holi, and we're going to be celebrating it today. It's the traditional spring festival from India. Holi celebrates the arrival of spring, the end of winter, the blossoming of love, and for many, it's a festive day to meet others, play and laugh, forgive and forget, and repair broken relationships. The festival also celebrates the beginning of a good spring harvest season. It's most well known as the holiday when they throw a bunch of bright-colored powder on each other in merriment. And that's the picture I put on the cover of the order of service this morning. And that's what the youth will be doing today in religious education. So our teen helpers in religious education are both named Maria, and one of their mothers helped them out to share their tradition with us, and they are gifting us traditional chai during social hour after the service, along with mango ice cream and soda with rose syrup and many other treats. So after the service, I invite you to head on down to Adams Hall and pick up some of this stuff, and then we can go outside so we can eat it and drink it safely. It'll be a balmy 45 degrees. But we have to pick it up down there so the chai can stay warm as it should, and to help us survive the balmy 45 degrees. So that's what we're going to be doing after the service. If you have a joy or sorrow, I invite you to fill out a blue card and give it to an usher, and it'll be read later in the service, or you also can text on the phone number at the beginning, listed in the beginning of the order of service. I think now we have some time for announcements. I know religious education has some announcements as well as the membership team. So, Katie, will you come up and share your announcement?
All right. Good morning, everyone. You probably recognize me as I'm up here every month for this. I'm Katie Coker. I am the RE co-chair. And it is that time for April RE volunteers. As per usual, I have my sign-up sheets, and I'm going to send them down each side. If you are available to help us, if you have a lesson, awesome. You can teach the kids obviously you have to pass it by us, but whatever you would like. Otherwise, we can give you a lesson. We have the full lesson plan. So you just have to walk through it. It's very easy. It's super fun. I've seen a lot of your faces down there. So if you would like to sign up again, here are the sign-up sheets. And we super appreciate it. You guys have been awesome. So thank you.
Hello, I'm Sarah Lukich, and even though you might recognize her all the time, and I've been around for a decade, you might not recognize me because between COVID and a bunch of kids, I'm not always right here. But I am on the membership committee and am running the t-shirt sales that you guys have all been hearing about. Just wanted to remind you, we only have about 2 more weeks that we'll be collecting orders. You can either fill out a form in the back of the church and pay by cash, check, or PayPal. I also have a link, I'll repost that on our bulletin board, that you can put your order straight through that way as well. We probably, I think, need about 3 or 4 more to hit our goal to get at the cost that we are hoping to get at. So if anybody else in your family, your kids, your dogs, anybody might need a cute little UU t-shirt to march in when we do the parades and stuff, please go ahead and check us out.
And good morning. We should point out, incidentally, if we don't hit that 3 or 4 more people who've ordered shirts, it's going to be at the same price we sold it. You know, we've got a few bucks we can throw in. Be great if we don't need to, but thank you very much.
Now our time for a chalice lighting. Fire consumes and casts a bright light. May our chalice flame consume our regrets for the past, our fears about the future, and our worries about today. May it light for us a path of joy and peace. Printed in our order of service is our shared affirmation of mission, and I invite you to join me in reciting our mission statement aloud now. We seek answers everywhere, include everyone, live with compassion. Okay. Our first hymn is number 298, Wake Now My Senses. It's in the gray hymnal, and we are going there. We are going to sing all 5 verses. So in the music is 3 verses, and on the next page is verse number 4 and 5, and we're going to do them all. A few years back, in the spring of 2020, right as the pandemic was starting, I came across a post on social media that led me down a journey of religious history. It was an affirmation-like poem, and it was entitled Worth. It was posted by Maggie Jones, a life coach from Lawrence, Kansas, who has an active online presence. is stated as follows. Worth. I am valuable when I'm not creating anything. I am valuable when I'm still and quiet. I am valuable when I'm not helping another being. I'm valuable when I'm not productive. I'm valuable when I'm scared. I'm valuable when I'm not able to connect. I am valuable when I'm the one who needs help. I am valuable when I'm sick. I am valuable when I'm exhausted. I am valuable when I have nothing to add to the conversation. I am valuable when I don't look presentable. I am valuable when I'm not making anyone laugh. I am valuable. One of the followers of the account wrote a comment in response to the worth affirmation. They said, I really don't get this. The idea of self-worth, I don't know how to validate myself when I'm not doing any of those things. I feel like if I don't do anything, I'm not valuable. The idea of being worthy just because I exist is weird. I can't really process it. I was really struck by that commenter who couldn't understand the concept of human value outside of or independent of production. The commenter is operating under the dominant worldview of our time and place, the 21st century USA, which I would term industrial corporate capitalism. This worldview tells us our value as humans is determined by what we can produce, how we are able to monetize our labor or skills or image is our value. The more we produce, the greater our worth. The less we produce, we are viewed in a less than fashion. Corporations have these departments called HR. HR stands for Human Resources. The corporation's goal is to utilize or exploit natural resources or human resources to maximize their growth or profit or sales. The departments that have responsibility for employees is entitled Human Resources, which always seemed objectifying to me. Under this worldview, billionaires are the heroes. They're the exemplars of value. Everywhere I turn, the media is clamoring to interview another billionaire, to hear their opinion or take on the issues of the day. Usually in fields they have no experience in or only a hobbyist's interest. But they are billionaires, exemplars of value in industrial corporate capitalism. So their opinions matter in all things. They are deserving of primetime promotion and unbelievably direct input into government policy. This is the dominant worldview and ideology we're living in. I've come up against this again and again in my ministry. As we age, we can no longer do what we used to do. So, of course, there is loss, and with any loss, grief is the human way of processing that loss. This happens to Unitarian Universalists, as it does to everyone. But this worldview increases the pain and suffering of not being able to do what you used to do. Because this worldview tells you that your worth is diminished since you cannot do what you used to be able to do. But there's another worldview, ancient and modern, a worldview in which this affirmation worth is rooted in, a worldview in which our religious tradition is deeply rooted. In the book of Genesis, it is written that humans were created in the image and likeness of God. Ancient and medieval Christian scholars writing in Latin came to call this Imago Dei theology, image of God theology. So what does this mean? Well, like everything else in the Bible, everyone has an opinion, and everyone thinks their interpretation is correct. Each faith tradition has a unique take on it. I read it that we are all God's children. Each of us is unique and special. Each of us has a spark of the divine in us, God's breath in us. Our Universalist ancestors in the early 20th century stated it as belief in the, quote, supreme worth of every human personality. The supreme worth of every human personality. When the Universalist denomination merged with the Unitarian denomination in 1961, it was enshrined in the UUA's first principle. We affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. The great 20th century Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel stated it succinctly from his Jewish tradition. He said, "Just to be is a blessing. Just to live is holy." Unitarian Universalists affirm the inherent worth and dignity of each person as given. It's a given of faith, an unshakable conviction calling us to self-respect and respect for others. That's how the Reverend Dr. Rebecca M. Parker, minister and theologian, states it. A given, an unshakable conviction, inherent worth. Human beings have inherent worth. This means worth is inherent before your production or lack of production. These are all religious examples. This idea has made it in the secular political realm as well, with the Declaration of Independence written by Thomas Jefferson, who wrote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal." Of course, he was influenced by Enlightenment thinking, especially the work of John Locke. It must be said that Enlightenment thought is paradoxical in this case. These ideas of human freedom and individual rights took root in nations that held other human beings in bondage and were in the process of trying to exterminate native populations. Colonial domination and expropriation marched hand in hand with the spread of liberty and liberalism, arose alongside the modern notions of race and racism. It took the scientific thought of the Enlightenment to create an enduring racial taxonomy of the color-coded white over black ideology with which we are familiar today. But race, as we understand it, that turns physical difference into relations of domination, is a product of the Enlightenment. Thus, we live in a world with various human-created labels that are affixed to us by the larger society. I call them the isms: sexism, racism, classism, ableism. These isms and all the many others tell us very clearly who is normal and who is less than. But you have inherent worth. Inherent worth is the worth beyond or the worth before these isms. You have inherent worth. You are not less than, and any person or tradition or system that tells you that you are less than is mistaken. Sadly, in all likelihood, that person or tradition or system is so powerful that they can force that mistaken value upon you. The dominant worldview of our time and place aren't true. They're lies, but yet they are dominant and empowered. One of the members of my former congregation, the Sedona UU Fellowship, was John Waddell, who was a gifted sculptor. He lived to 99 years old and was active in the fellowship to the very end. He taught sculpture to students at Arizona State University as an art professor for many years before he left and fully focused on his art. But he still taught younger students, even them, in various fellowships. But his art was girded in a humanistic philosophy that was the foundation for all his artistic work, and he termed it the beauty of individual differences. And over the years of being his minister, from what I gathered from reading about his work and talking with him directly, what he meant by this is that we each have a spark of specialness or uniqueness. His style of art, he would work for months or years to finish a sculpture. He would work so long with models, and he would create again and again and again pieces in clay as the model posed. He was attempting to get at the person's essence, their unique human spirit, before realizing it and finally casting it in bronze, which would last for millennia. This is how he stated it himself. To be able to do something better than anyone else has moved humans to many irrational acts. The gift of art can be a realization of the unique nature of the self and a mature establishment of directions, not goals. Thus, the concept of better is replaced with a more realistic one dealing with the uniqueness of contribution. It's John Henry Waddell. Uniqueness of contribution and the beauty of individual differences. In this conception, there isn't a value system of human worth, of better than or less than. In this system, everyone has value. Everyone is unique. A core teaching of Jesus of Nazareth in the Gospels is a lifting up of individual human value in opposition to the dominant theology of empire of his time in Roman-occupied Judea. Ask yourself, who did Jesus spend his time with, according to the Gospels? Well, he spent it with tax collectors. At the time, these were viewed as sellouts or traitors. Tax collectors were Jews who collected taxes from fellow Jews to give to the occupying Romans. Jesus hung out with sex workers who were frowned upon by the patriarchal society of the day. And he hung out with his various followers or disciples who were often poor and quit their jobs to live an itinerant, homeless lifestyle on the road. What were the morals of the stories Jesus told, what we call the parables? Well, in the parable of the Good Samaritan, the audience of his time looked down upon Samaritans. The story shows how caring and loving someone from a despised people can be. They have worth even though you despise them. Relevant to our time in America, this story could be called the good Iranian, or better yet, the good undocumented immigrant, or anyone who is maligned and despised. Then there's the story of the prodigal son. A son of a landowner gets an inheritance and goes off and wastes it, boozing and gambling and womanizing. He's deeply ashamed and embarrassed and returns to his father. His father is so overjoyed to see his prodigal son, he throws him a big party of celebration. But the brother gets jealous and confronts his father and says, "Why are you rewarding his misbehavior?" The father responds, "My son was lost, and now he is found." The son has value independent of his poor decisions. The son has inherent worth. To sum up this deep human value, I'll turn to Thomas Merton, who was a gifted Roman Catholic monk writing in the 1950s and 60s before his untimely death. He stated it quite clearly and succinctly. Our job is to love others without stopping to inquire whether or not they are worthy. That is not our business, and in fact, it is nobody's business. What we are asked to do is to love, and that love itself will render both ourselves and our neighbors worthy. Which brings us back to the social media affirmation on worth. I was heartened to see this affirmation posted on worth. I was saddened to see the comment by the young woman so immersed in a worldview that diminishes her inherent human worth that she can't really process it. Even when we are gifted with life-affirming worldviews by our family or our artistic or religious or secular ancestors, life is still a struggle, especially in these difficult times, especially when our society's dominant worldview is so dehumanizing. Therefore, in a shared moment of silence, may we together be reminded, you are enough. You are worthy. You are valuable. You are beautiful, just as you are. You are whole. May your light shine, May God bless you, and may peace be with you. Amen. I have a collection of funny little tidbits to share during the offertory, and usually I write the date next to it so I don't share the same joke in the same year. So I'm going to share this one. I like it. I hope I didn't share it before, but I'm getting to that age that I don't remember. Here we go. A little boy told a preacher, "I'm going to save up my money and give it to you when I retire." The preacher said, "That's very nice of you, but why would you do such a thing?" The little boy responded, "Because my father says that you are the poorest preacher he has ever heard." Did I say that one before? No. Okay, good. All right. So whatever your motivation, we will now receive this morning's offering. At this time, I invite anyone who is visiting for the first time, if you're comfortable doing so, I invite you to stand and tell us your name and where you're from, and we would love to meet you. So, any visitors or guests? Cool. Thanks for having us. Wonderful. Welcome. Okay, great.
Good morning. My name is Audrey Greer, and my husband Tony has a background with your church, and he asked me to join him, and I said, absolutely, so I'm very happy to be here.
Wonderful. Welcome.
That's a first.
We're a comedy team. No, we just, I've kind of grown up all over. And we both retired teachers. Both of us are going back to school for advanced degrees.
Wow.
I've always been inclined towards spiritual. Inclined. Not only practical, but inclined. And so the few times I've been to other Unitarian churches, after going to so many other points of view, I realized deeply that this is where we belong. Yeah. So it's nice. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Laura. I'm just visiting with my aunt and my mom.
Wonderful. Welcome. Thank you. Okay.
He's been here before, but I want to reintroduce my good friend Ryan, who is a great person to have a philosophical discussion with.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah, my name actually is Brian. Also go by my middle name, Rashad. And the reason that I'm here is this is actually tactical, because I believe in social justice, and I recently got involved in, getting my paralegal certification. And there's a lot of different civil issues that I think are very important, and there's a lot of things going on in the world in which justice or social justice is critical. You have to stand up for these types of things, and really the best way to do that is in court. A lot of it will be in federal and international court. Of course, there's an issue in Ukraine, stuff like that. Those people that need help, and it's just a lot of different things, and I've been through, and I believe in a lot of different religious stuff from different denominations and different groups, so it's impossible for me to choose a side. Therefore, I'm a Unitarian.
Wonderful. Thank you. Great. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Now is our time for joys and sorrows, and the joys and sorrows of our community are shared. Please direct your energy, prayers, and meditations as gifts of compassion. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. I think we have a closing hymn. It's number 318. It's in the gray hymnal. We would be one. Thank you, everyone. I just want to say next week we have an exciting service. We have the choir singing, and we also have a new member welcome ceremony. So if you're interested in becoming a member, please see me after the service, and we can talk about that. If you missed next Sunday, that's okay. We'll have another one in April or May, but it's going to be the first one in a while, and I'm looking forward to it. And if you decide to join, you'll get a flower. So that might be. You will be given a flower. I think I will extinguish the chalice, and then we'll listen to our postlude, and we can celebrate together with Ty. So may you go in peace.